Gamers these days are spoilt. We have more games coming out now than at any other point in history. Problems with titles get patched out in updates. We have multiple ways to buy games, whether it's digital or on a disc. We also have more ways to play them than ever now, with VR being a thing, the Switch being a handheld console hybrid, and not to mention how good games are getting on phones these days. But with all the shit they keep throwing at us, people still bicker about what makes a game good, or what title deserves what score or price tag. So this makes me ask the question, how do you determine what makes a game good? So, first off, there is no rule to what makes a good game. You can have X, Y, and Z from some high-rated release, but if they're not used correctly, the game will just end up being shit. Final Fantasy VII never got on any top 10 best graphics lists, but it's still one of the most talked about games in all of gaming history. So a game that's graphics look like a kid's marble painting, has shitty translations that go as far as to get the characters' names wrong, and a game that's so bloody long that it took 3 discs to fit it on. By most metrics today, this game would be brushed aside by most, just because it's ugly and you have to read the game. But it's not. It ended up getting spin-offs on loads of different systems, a phone game, a movie sequel, an animated movie, and now it's even getting a bloody remake on the PlayStation 4. Whether or not it comes out, that's anyone's guess. But if you were to release a game like that nowadays, with everything exactly the same as how Final Fantasy VII did it, when it comes out, you wouldn't hear fuck all about it. You'd probably only get some weeby edgelord like me talking about it on YouTube, trying to convince people to give it a go. My point is, we've gotten so spoilt now, we can have the choice to brush off so many great titles based on silly reasons like what they look like or what the Metacritic score is sitting at. People are finding every other avenue other than actually just picking up the game and playing it. With this being the case, I fear that most gamers are just picking up what's easy rather than finding something that they'll find special. Let me put it like this, it's dinner time. You have a choice. Do you take your time and try and cook yourself something you've never made before, or do you just call up a pizza place? On the one hand, you can learn something new that could possibly be the best thing that you've ever eaten, and now you can take that with you and cook it whenever you want, or get the instant satisfaction of a big greasy pizza without having to move. It's pretty much the same thing. So who's to blame? As much as it being the fault of developers for putting in mechanics and features that they know will be instant sellers, like third-person cover shooters with edgy wisecracking main characters, or multiplayer that goes on forever with bullshit DLC and any other means of bleeding the customer dry, it's also the fault of the consumer, buying into the rinse and repeat attitude we seem to be having today. Why should Fred have to try a new game when he's bored of Call of Duty when he has a new version out in less than a year's time? Why should Steve buy another game when Destiny keeps going on and on and on till Destiny 2 comes out? Truth is, for the most part, a lot of these gamers go for the gaming equivalent of the summer blockbuster movie or an ongoing soap opera. They know what they're getting, they don't have to worry about taking chances. Even if a particular title is bad, they only have to wait a short period of time until the next game in the series comes out. And to be fair, I don't blame them. The door of having so much to choose from swings both ways. On the one hand, you have more games to choose from than ever before, with a vast catalogue of genres and experiences. But on the other hand, with so much to choose from, how do you know what you're going to like? How do you know what game is good if everybody else is playing on this particular game all the time? The time when people would take risks from checking out the cover art or reading the back of the box are gone. This is the sad state that the gaming business is currently in, with developers making what sells rather than making something from the heart that they truly believe in, having not only to sell the game, but a promise of more game to come a year down the line for the price tag of buying the sodding game again. And that there should be the biggest bloody red flag, that you have to sell the game and essentially resell it to the same person with a season pass the day it fucking comes out just to try and get a profit from it. But can this be fixed though? Well, I don't know. But the light at the end of the tunnel for me is how versatile engines are these days. When a developer picks up an engine and creates their assets, it essentially turns it into a toy box for them to be able to pump out games quicker and cheaper. Though this can be a double-edged sword and the reason some series can get stale, on the positive side of this, we got a re-release of Yakuza for the PS4, now known as Yakuza Kiwami. This come out after Sega built Yakuza 0 on a new engine, and now, based on the work that they did on Zero, they remade the original game, using the same assets and the same tools they used to make Zero, making for a quicker development cycle and making the game cheaper to produce, giving it a day one discounted price tag. Capcom also designed the RE engine, not only to get the best results visually and gameplay-wise, but also to speed up the entire process and give them the ability to create new games quicker. The negatives of this are when these practices get turned into a quick way to fart out a game for no other reason than to cash in. But the biggest factor, in my opinion, between devs that strive to make a great product or just another unit to sell is the heart behind what brought the game into existence in the first place. This is the difference between somebody putting their heart and soul into a game and providing an experience that hasn't been experienced before. People like Hideo Kojima and Suda51 come to mind when thinking of people that strive on their own ideals, rather than to just make a few quid. Games like the new Doom didn't want to just be the next run-of-the-mill FPS. It wanted to give you the same thrill ride feeling that you got the day that you first tried the original Doom. The Last of Us didn't want to be a regular third-person cover shooter. It wanted to provoke you into thinking what's happening in the game world and to the people living in the game world, giving the player a window into how real life could be under certain circumstances. Then you have games like Metal Gear Solid 5 or the new spin-off Metal Gear Survive, which amount to nothing more than cash grabs based off of the name. Fuck you, Metal Gear Solid 5. Or the new God of War, switching its mechanics to match the top-selling games of the generation so far, because to me, that tells me that they don't have faith in their own ideas for game design. I can't say this for certain, but that's my opinion, so fuck you. So, I'll say it again, how do we determine what makes a game good? If a game can stick in your head days, months, or even years after you've played it, whether or not it scored a 10 out of 10 on your favourite website, whether it has the best graphics or controls, whether it's the top selling game that month, or it's the biggest online hit with the biggest player base on the planet, if it sticks with you, you found that great game. If the game doesn't give you the memories to look back on, the feeling of a story hitting you in the place where most media can't even access, how can't that be considered good? The review scores can be as high as you like and the sales through the roof, but if the game doesn't have sticking power to you, the player, then it's failed to be the great game it was sold to you pre-packaged as. A truly great video game can attribute things to your own personality, from a lesson learned, from a character, or the game's world. The lasting effect that the game has on you is the best way to judge how good the game is to you. These things can't be put into day one reviews. You can't get it by watching somebody else play it on Twitch, or what some award show or some crap like that tells you it deserves. It's a personal thing. It comes only from the player. But it's the choice of the player to open their mind to new games and to step out of their comfort zone, and who knows, you may have the next best experience sitting in front of you, staring you in the face the entire time. Well, thank you for listening to me ramble about games. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you ain't already, and I'll see you in the next video.